I always was taught that ethics means doing the right thing all the time, even when nobody's watching. But for me, it's really more of a spiritual issue, actually. In my faith in Christ, I really strive for it to direct my plan or how I treat people, really. First off, I'm so blessed to be able to work for Higginbotham, because really the heart of Higginbotham is giving back to our communities and really helping people. And there's, in all of our communities, there's so many hurting people that it's just so rewarding to really give back. And we started a foundation about 4 years ago that we've now raised $400,000 from our employees, and we give grants out back to our communities. And we have offices in like 22 locations now, so we're really giving back, you know, money on the ground in the various communities. One thing that's really neat that I'm doing now is I'm on the board of the Chamber, and I'm on the Education and Talent Committee, and I'm just one person on a very large committee working with Drew Cheverly at the Chamber. But the whole point of that committee is to try to improve the education of our Central Texas kids in the public school system. You know, because really there's nothing more just, is there, than really providing someone an education, because then they can better themselves, they can become productive citizens and get jobs and provide for their families. So that's basically the job description, is to strive for justice, because not all kids or schools are created equally, and, you know, as far as the same opportunities. So, and that to me is a real mission, to try to provide a great education for everybody, no matter what school or what part of town or whatever.
Really, ethics is a reverence for life, and how you demonstrate that with everything you do, because I happen to think ethics is everywhere. It's not just limited to your personal life, your community, or your business life. It surrounds us. Practicing ethics in both personal and business life is not that difficult if you have your own true north, your own compass set properly. It's really not too much of a balancing act, if you will, but you do think about balance, because we have a set amount of time to devote to family, our career, our giving back. So for me, I go with some codes, if you will, of service, and in serving others, it's not just confined to one of those spaces. Again, it's all of these things. So with that, if you think about the work that I have done in Rotary, we go by some basic tenets that have to do with, is it good for all concerned? Is it fair? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? And so when you practice that, it's not limited to either personal or business. Sometimes you know what ethics is, but you also have to know what it isn't. We know we don't want to follow that path. And so that's where a code of ethics, you know, and that moral compass come in to play, is that I want to go back to my true north. I want to avoid those unethical practices and decisions.
Ethics for lawyers is pretty dominant in our lives. It can be very complex, but honestly, for me, it goes back to the simplest thing that my parents taught me. If you do unto others as you would have them do unto you, it's a pretty clear and powerful lens. I think that finding the right people to be in business with and to build things with is critically important to holding the center of your own ethical core. This firm has supported my community service, and to me, that's about contributing to the sustainability of our community on an ongoing basis. We've been very fortunate in Austin that people that came before us created a great foundation for the success that we experience today. If you think about it, But we still have challenges here today that we need to embrace as the leaders of this generation and to pass on a great community to tomorrow. It's really critical that we address one of the greatest challenges today, which is the growing poverty gap in our community. So working in the early childhood space, in a community that has more and more income eligible children is very important. And then, you know, frankly, we have an adult workforce that is not trained for the jobs of tomorrow. And we need to come back around and create the opportunity so that we can fill these wonderful jobs that are coming to Austin with our own people. And by doing those two things, tending to people at the beginning of their lives and then catching them on the back end to be sure that they have opportunity, that's what's going to start closing the poverty gap and create a sustainable, successful community for tomorrow.